I'm reviewing VHS Beyond. VHS Beyond is a new sci-fi horror anthology, and it will be dropping on Shudder October 4th. This is the 7th film in the VHS franchise, and it has 6 segments. It is directed by Jordan Downey, Christian Long, and Justin Long, Justin Martinez, Virat Pal, Kate Siegel, and Jay Cheel. I'm going to keep this review as spoiler-free as possible so I don't ruin the film for you if you do decide to see it. I like found footage films, so of course I have seen all of the VHS films. I have to tell you that I think that this is one of my favorite films in the franchise. Now, generally, when I watch them, I have serious thoughts about each segment. Like it, hate it, like it, hate it. Interestingly enough, with this film, there wasn't a single segment here that I did not like, and that's unusual. For sure, without a doubt, my favorite VHS segment of all time is The Subject from VHS 94. Interestingly enough, that also has a sci-fi element, which is the theme of this VHS. It's all of or relating to some sort of sci-fi element. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I love sci-fi and fantasy almost as much as I love horror, so when you can combine horror with one of those, I'm even happier. I'm gonna briefly touch on the 6 segments. The first one is Abduction, and it's the wraparound for the entire film. And it's about basically, well, found footage tapes that some people are trying to analyze and determine whether it's real or not. Obviously, we see drops of this throughout, and we don't see it come to fruition until the end. And it is very interesting. It's kind of wild. It wasn't exactly what I expected. This one is far better than the wraparounds from some of the others, for sure, by far. And I did like it. Actually, I liked some of the cinematography quite a bit. And the idea of it is actually very cool. I do kind of wish that they would have explored more about the Farrington house, because they do give some lore, but they don't really explain or touch on why this is happening. Or is it the house, or is it the person, or is it the family, or what? And we have Stork, which is the one that is directed by Jordan Downey, who is also the director of Thankskilling and also Headhunter, which is a phenomenal film. Actually, Thankskilling also is, but it's very different, very funny, very campy, very silly. This one is inspired by the artwork from Alec Vodovenka. It's about a SWAT team of police who are investigating some baby disappearances and swarm onto a home because they think that the babies might be there. Stork is very cool because it feels like an FPS or a first-person shooter for a big part of the segment, and it totally has a chainsaw and some Evil Dead vibes. And I love that. Like, some of the shots of that were really cool. It's actually, yes, a little funny, and it is crazy. And the creature design is wild. It's wicked. It's very, very cool. Dream Girl is set in Mumbai, and it is subtitled, but it does have some English words dropped in here and there. It is about some paparazzi who break into a celebrity's trailer to try to get some background footage. Now, if you know me, you know that I love Bollywood, and this actually does have a Bollywood scene, but it's quite a bit sexier. Like, it's pretty sexy. I was kind of clutching my pearls. I was like, oh my, that is sexy. Dream Girl gets absolutely out of control, insane, crazy, over the top. It definitely has some Carrie vibes in there, and maybe a Silence of the Lambs type reference. So this one made me chuckle quite a few times, and there's an absolute bloodbath in it. Live and Let Die, about a group that's parachuting, and instead of actually jumping out of the plane gets destroyed and they fall to the ground. Or they parachute to the ground, technically. For the most part, this one is completely shot from the POV of the main character. So it's a little different from some of the others because you kind of follow the camera around. This one's like attached to the person, so you see it, you know, from their point of view pretty much the entire time. I think that it has an amazing fall scene. It's very, very cool, and it made me chuckle. It probably shouldn't have made me laugh, but I'm not gonna tell what happened, but I was like, oh, that sucks. There is a bit of cat and mouse here where you kind of go round and round, but I will say that I really found the end of this cool and trippy. And there was something about it, about the way it made you feel. I think seeing this in the theater would be awesome. Like, big. I think this part specifically would be very cool. It's kind of like when you see a POV of the roller coasters. I feel like it could feel very cool. Fur Babies. This is the one that is directed by Christian and Justin Long, and it is about a group of animal rights activists who are trying to expose a doggy daycare for whatever they think that it is. This is absolutely insane. The animal rights people are upset with this woman because she has taxidermy dogs, which I really truly don't understand. They refer to it as mutilating the bodies of the dogs, which is wild to me because they've passed away. She clearly loves her dogs, like totally loves her dogs. Okay, so like she's not hurting them. I guess it kind of hits close to home for me because my dog Mulder is 13 years old now and he has diabetes and he has heart disease, and I am facing losing him, and I'm not really okay with it. I would absolutely have him taxidermied if I could afford it because I love that dog so much. I would love to have him there forever. I honestly didn't know you could love a dog this much. I feel like this obviously has some inspiration from Tusk. I loved it. Jesus, this one was crazy. And last but certainly not least, we have Stowaway. This is the one that is directed by Kate Siegel, and it is about a former journalist who's trying to uncover the mysteries of lights in the sky and UFOs. I would say that this is the trippiest of the segments, for sure. Not only in its story, but the way it's shot. It definitely feels like it has some inspiration from The Fly, and when you see it, you'll understand what I mean. I feel like this one also feels the most like found footage, if that makes sense. I feel like this one feels the most like VHS type footage. Some of the others are like digital, which is fine. I mean, either way, I don't care. It doesn't have to be VHS quality, but I did like that aspect of it. 80s horror sci-fi vibes here that I really dig, and I think that Kate Siegel should do more. But she's a great actress too, so I don't know. I like both. I do feel like with every film that honestly, the quality and production keeps getting better with these. And I have to say that this could probably be my favorite film in the franchise. At least, definitely overall. You know, because the quality of each segment is so good. And I liked every one of the segments, which is a major win to me. Because I find it very rare that I like all of the segments in an anthology. But I love anthologies because if you don't like one, just wait. Something else will come up, maybe you'll like that. Overall, all the cinematography was great, it was fine. Now, you do have a found footage film, so just so you know, if you don't like found footage films, if you don't like the shakiness of the camera work or something like that, then obviously you should probably avoid most of the VHS. I will say there's not a ton of shaky footage here. For the most part, the acting overall was great. I can't say for sure whether this is the goriest overall in the franchise, but it does have a lot of good, cool blood throughout the entire film, and I found that very exhilarating. It's pretty bloody. There is definitely some CGI here, obviously. Some of it is more questionable than others, but honestly, none of it was bad. I was really impressed with the quality of a lot of this film. I honestly don't know if I can name my favorite segment. I want to say Stork. But Fur Babies, it's definitely one of those. I mean, they are just fun, exciting, a bit of a gore fest. I just loved the whole feel and feeling of those two segments the most. The other ones are great though too. Every time a new VHS franchise film comes out, I am always excited and look forward to it because it's an anthology film, and I love anthology films because there's always something for everyone. And this is definitely the case with this one. Honestly, if you've seen A24's Tusk, I think you have to see this VHS Beyond. It's crazy. But if you do like found footage films, then you absolutely need to see VHS Beyond. And if you haven't seen the other films, you should definitely watch them. They're not all winners. I'm not gonna lie to you. Something may hit differently for you than it has for me. I really do hope they continue the franchise because I would love to see another VHS. It does seem like this one has raised the bar quite a bit though, so that's a little intimidating. I wonder if they can keep that up. They knocked it out of the park with this one, I'm just saying. I would like to say a big, wonderful thank you to my Patreon members, Chris Mizictino, Jimmy Hoare, Eddie, Janie McLaren, Jose Reyes, Phil Smith, Jim Kemmerling, Mickey B, and Deal Demon.